so stupid. Oh, you dumb. You dumb. You ignorant. You ugly. Oh, you stupid. Drink your water. Oh. Hezzy. Fuego. Agua gang. Yo, all y'all should be drinking water. Because it's hot. And you don't want to dehydrate. Dehydration. And yes, Richard, you can't dehydrate. So therefore, drink your water. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without some dope people to follow. Yo, I left y'all some dope people to follow. Hopefully you followed them. If you didn't, that's kind of on you. Yeah, no, because other people that can give you great devotionals and great inspiration and things that's like, cheer you up. Like the Rock With You podcast, my brother Rockmo, or Eve of Creation. You know, the list goes on. So if you didn't follow them, oh man, I'm asking you again. That's on you. Been a little minute since I blasted you wonderful people out there. These past couple of weeks have just been reading and digging into like the Old Testament. I forgot how I got there. Man, it's been really eye-opening, right? Been like showing me a lot of things. I feel like God has been calling me into a new season. Coming into that new season, it's been a lot of unanswered questions, or not even unanswered questions, but just a lot of questions. What about this? What about this? What about this? Reading through Exodus, I felt like God was just like, chill, I got you. You see how I had them? I got you. Reading through Numbers, it was more like, this is what happens when you don't listen, but I got you. So just listen. Just listen. Because I'm kind of going into a new realm of art, I guess you could say. Not only like artistically, but personally. Not only artistically, but personally, relationally. All these different things are just kind of changing. Reading and seeing myself in what I'm reading is pretty dope. Let's get it started. Yo, y'all remember when the Black Eyed Peas, before they sold out, before Fergie? Anyways, I'm sorry. Read through Exodus, read through Numbers. A couple days ago, got to Deuteronomy 1. And then something dawned on me that, like, after reading all these things that I didn't really see when I read before. Interesting. So I was reading Deuteronomy 1. And it's like Moses, like, retelling the story of them traveling through the wilderness for 40 years, right? So they were in the wilderness for 40 years. And then I didn't realize that what they were in search of for 40 years, they were already there in Numbers. When you look at Deuteronomy 1:20, towards the end of the sentence, it's like, quote, you have reached the hill country of the Amorites, which the Lord our God has given us. The New International Version, NIV, whatever. But then I was like, wait, fam, they were already at the promised land. So as you keep reading, verse 21 is like, see, the Lord your God has given you the land. Go up, take possession of it as the Lord, the God of your ancestors told you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. So they were there. God was like, go take the land. Simple enough. And if the God of all creation is telling you, go take the land, go take it, right? God told them to go and take it. But instead of going and taking it, they hesitated. Hezzy. So they hesitated. And it's like they hesitated because of questions. So like when I look at my own life, I look at where God is calling me to, or where I feel God is calling me to, and it's like I could either pursue it or I could hesitate because of the questions that I have. How will I go about this? How will the people receive it? But yo, let's look back at Moses and them. What seemed like wisdom from Moses, and to me seemed like the leader was letting the people lead. When they were like, yo, let's go check it out first before we take the land, right? I wonder sometimes when God tells us to do something, maybe we should just do it instead of like, what about? Because I find myself in that position a lot of times because it's like, just do this. And it's like, well, what about? But it's interesting, like even this week when I felt like, okay, I was working on this one thing and I was going to use this one thing, I had to be very, because I'm about to drop at some point in time. I can't give you all the goods. Anyways, I was going to work on this one thing, but I felt as though God was like, nah, work on this. And the thing that I worked on instead of what I was planning on working on, fire. Fuego. And my girl was like, yo, I really like this. This is the best one yet. Because she talks like that, right? But it's interesting to see like Israel, they hesitated like, wait, let's send the spies first. Let's research this out. But it's interesting that research caused them not to enter the promised land for another 40 years. It caused for a generation to pass before they could even enter the promised land, right? They were already there. God said, take it, but they were like, wait. And they thought maybe wait would be a couple of days, couple of weeks. Wait ended up being 40 years. I was reading John Corson when he was talking about the same passage, and he was saying that we are to walk by faith and not by sight. That's the scripture that when we talk about faith, it's like God can move mountains, but we walk by faith and not by sight, not by what we can see. I believe that God is going to bring me into an area financially, even though my bank account doesn't look like it. I'm believing that God will walk me into a life with a wife and kids and things of that sort, even though I'm not there yet. We're walking by faith in God, not faith in ourselves, not faith in what we can do, but we're having faith in God that he will do it. So we are to walk by faith and not by sight. But by Israel sending the spies, it's like Israel was trying to get sight before they walked. And I was like, mind blown emoji. Not only like the fact that they were already there, but that like they were trying to get sight before they walked. And it's like, man, the spies see that the land is good, but they realize that it's too big for them to handle on their own. And how often do we take advice, or we do research, or we do all these things, and we realize like, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to take this to the people? How am I supposed to market this? Like, what about my IG? Do I start a new IG to promote this new art? Do I keep it on the same page, but the people on this one said I shouldn't do this and that and the third? And we realize it's too big for us to handle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do as much research as you want. You can do all these things. But when you have big dreams, when you're looking at the end goal, you're like, how do I get there? But God is like, yo, chill. Just do what I told you. Just do the next step, and I got you. And sometimes we need to get in that mindset, in that way of thinking of, if you tell me to do this, I'm going to do it. We must remember to take it to the one that called us to the task. But it's interesting. So the 12 spies went, saw that the land was good, but then saw that they were like, quote unquote, like grasshoppers in the eyes of the other people that were already living there, that they were supposed to take the land from. Out of the 12 spies, 2 were like, yo, let's go take this land. We got it. God's with us. Ha! Ooh! Ha! Yeah! Let's go get it. But out of the 12, 2 were gun-ho, let's do it. Yeah, we got it. Da 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 da. But 10 polluted the whole Israelite camp. They polluted the whole camp with fear. Oh, we can't do it. We're too small. We're this, we're that. We can't. We just can't. It's too much. It's too great. But only 2 were like, yo, we got it. You know, God told us. No, I mean, they kind of forgot the God that called them to the task. But how often do we forget the God who called us to the task? How often do we forget the all-powerful God that can do anything? That the task that he called us to was not on our own strength. Yeah, he called us to do it, but he didn't say that we would do it by ourselves. He didn't say that we would do it like with all our might. He didn't say that we had the responsibility to shoulder this whole burden by ourselves. He said, my yoke is made easy. Preach, preacher. Ridiculous. So it's interesting. As we continue to read, you get to verse 30. The people were reminded that God would fight for them. So it's not like they had fear and then God was like, oh, since you feared, get out of here. Because God knows that we're going to go, we're like this. We're very fickle at times. Like, God can tell us to do something. Scratch that. God can tell me to do something. And I'm just like, yeah, let's go. And then I get the first question or the first obstacle. And I'm just like, so, did you really call me to go? But God knows his people. God knows us. God knows that times we be shady. Times we be like kind of... Verse 30, God says, hey. I was about to say, bae. Bae, I got you. God says, hey, I got you. Verse 31, he says, you saw how the Lord your God carried you, as a father carries his son, all the way you went until you reached this point, or place, I'm sorry. But God was like, yo, I've carried you all the way here, so why would I leave you? And even like when we're going through this time of like coronavirus and shutdowns and furloughs and all these things, all these obstacles, just like the children of Israel, God tells us like, yo, I got you. Like if I called you to do this thing, I got you. Like if I called you to start this business, I got you, regardless of what the economy looks like. If I called you into this ministry, I got you, regardless of not being able to go to church. If I called you to do all these things, I got you. It's easy for us to look down on them like, what? They stupid. You stupid. You stupid. Oh, you so stupid. Oh, you dumb. You dumb. You ignorant. You ugly. Oh, you stupid. It's easy for us to say that they're stupid and dumb and all these things like that. But how often do problems pop up in our lives? How often do we worry ourselves when these problems pop up? Like, oh man, how am I going to do this? And basically we're saying, God, I don't trust you. Worry, like we're worrying that God won't come through. And the bigger question is, how often do we allow fear to make us quit? That is honestly us saying, God, I don't trust you in this. If God has called you to do it, do it. With this new art project that I'm doing, even if it's not well received, I feel like God is telling me to do it, so I'm chasing it. Like even like the example that I gave earlier, about 2 days ago, I was going to do this one or do that one. And the one that I had, I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. And God was like, nah, fam, do that. And something as simple as that, but it can be even bigger. It could be like something to do with your life savings. It's something to do with your children. It could be something to do with your spouse, your future spouse, whatever the case may be. But like if God told you to do it, do it. God told you to wait. The same thing. Because like for me, I don't want to spend 40 years in the desert, finally getting to a place 40 years later where I could have been on an 11-day journey. Yeah, I don't know. Read the Old Testament? I guess that was the moral of the story? No. Drink your water, because it's hot out here. All right, guys. See you later.